What's up everyone, David here, and we are back again. I'm feeling in my element today because we're gonna talk Shin Megami Tensei 5. I don't have a script, I'm going all in talking about a question that I get asked so much nowadays. Is Shin Megami Tensei 5 going to get delayed? I have a lot to say. I don't think I have to tell you guys that. Everyone is saying something different. So people are believing, yeah, it's gonna come in 2021. Some other people are like, oh no, it's definitely gonna get delayed. If you don't know already, which would definitely surprise me if you're listening to this video, but Shin Megami Tensei 5 is set to release worldwide in 2021, exclusively on the Nintendo Switch. And considering Atlus's history in general, I definitely understand why some people would think that the game's gonna get delayed. But today, I want to look at various different elements about Atlus, about Shin Megami Tensei, about other series like Persona, and also, of course, Team Maniacs, who's developing this particular game, past SMT titles, stuff like that, just to see, is it gonna get delayed or not, basically. Just before I start the video, I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Adam. He's an artist actually making lots of art. If you've seen the thumbnail for this video, he's the one who drew the protagonist of SMT5. He's extremely talented. I would definitely suggest you guys give him a follow, actually. You can find him on Twitter at elite_adam_kun, or he also has a new site called adamkunarts.com where you can find his work. He takes commissions and he's extremely talented. Personal favorites of mine is definitely his, of course, his SMT5 protagonist pictures that I used for my thumbnail, and also a very amazing art of my boy Phoenix Wright from the Ace Attorney series. So definitely give him a shout out, and thank you so much, Adam, for your support and for letting me use your art in the thumbnail of this video. So now let's get into the subject of this video. Is the game gonna get delayed or not? Let's go back. January 2017 is when the game got announced. The game was announced at Nintendo Switch press conference, or the first Nintendo Switch event. We knew what the concept was because we saw that trailer that I probably watched 1,000 times about the Switch before, where you know that there's the dock and you see that it's the hybrid system, but not a lot of games were shown in that trailer. From memory, I think it was like Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, maybe 1-2 Switch, but nothing more. Now in January, they showed a bunch of other games. They showed Xenoblade Chronicles 2, they showed Project Octopath Traveler, they showed, of course, Shin Megami Tensei 5, they showed random games, basically, what would be coming to the Switch in the later months. Now, of course, Shin Megami Tensei 5 was announced. There was no date, it was now in development exclusively for the Nintendo Switch. And I definitely have my reason of why I think this game was announced so soon, okay? I think if you look back at Nintendo's last few years before the Switch release with the Wii U, the one thing that they were really lacking is Japanese developer support, JRPG support on their system. There was nothing. There was almost nothing. There was like Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I think that's pretty much it. So I feel like they, with the Switch, right away on day one in January, 3 months before their system launch, I think they wanted to prove their fans that they are going to get Japanese support on the Nintendo Switch. They gave a big spotlight to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The next big thing, Xenoblade Chronicles is like one of the best games of all time. It's considered one of the best games of all time by many, so it was a big deal. Shin Megami Tensei 5, long-running series praised by all the Japanese gamers. It is extremely popular in Japan. It's getting up there in the West with the Persona series. Project Octopath Traveler, developed by Square Enix, brand new RPG, unique style, developed by the team of Bravely Default. So, yeah, I think they wanted to push JRPGs in that show because they wanted to prove that they're gonna have JRPG support on the Nintendo Switch. I don't think Team Maniacs was ready to show Shin Megami Tensei 5, but Nintendo probably asked them to, hey, show it right away. Let's be honest, I'm probably surrounded by a bunch of guys that are hardcore into Shin Megami Tensei, and I'm fully aware of that, but I do know a bunch of people who bought the Switch day one just because they knew that at a certain point, they would get the next best thing from Atlus. So, yeah, I think it was a great move on their part, but on the other hand, the announcement was really soon. So, yeah, I think that's probably the reason why we got nothing from 2017 to July 2020 when we got the release date and a new trailer. Now, speaking of July 2020, They gave us a new trailer during a partner showcase for Shin Megami Tensei 5. There was no gameplay. It was another CG trailer showing the main character, or who we think is the main character. We saw some demons. We saw them bringing back the old design for Lucifer. So people were hyped, extremely hyped. I know I was. It was a big deal, and of course they showed a 2021 worldwide release date, which is again another big deal. Why? Why did they show a 2021 release date at a July 2020 event? It's still a months away from the release, and there was no. It was not first quarter 2021. It was not spring 2021. It was not summer 2021. It was just 2021. Which leads a lot of people to believe that, yeah, it's probably going to get delayed. They're not certain, but they want to remind us that the game's not canceled. Was it necessary to give us a date, if that's really the case? That's my question. So I am not too sure about that, actually. I have a theory, and there's two things that I want to bring up about why I think they showed us this trailer. The first thing is, let's go back to this partner showcase. They showed something else on that day. They showed Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne HD Remastered coming Q1 2021 in the West, and it released in October of this year in 2020. So a great way to make sure that Nocturne is going to be successful is to hype people up for this re-release by showing footage of the next big thing, SMT5. So maybe they were not necessarily ready to show a trailer, but they were like, hey, Nocturne's going to do better if we show a trailer. Remind them that the Shin Megami Tensei 5 is going to release on Switch at some point. So let's give them a trailer. Let's give them a quick trailer. Let's give them a date. Let's make them hype for the game, and we'll just push it if we're not ready. That might be the case. I think they probably also wanted to please their investors, because this Nintendo Switch in Japan is doing extremely well. It is selling hundreds of thousands of copies. It's doing extremely well. They broke records with Animal Crossing this year. Honestly, it is big. It's surpassing a bunch of systems at the moment in sales. So I'm sure their investors were like, hey, where are the games for the Switch? You released Catherine Full Body. It flopped because, of course, it's just a port that came out a year before on the PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 also has a big install base in Japan, of course. So, of course, it was going to flop. Nocturne HD is great because it's a classic. We saw the numbers. It did well. But SMT4 did extremely well, so SMT5 is the next big deal, and I'm sure investors wanted to see the game. So another reason why I think they showed it in July. Where am I heading at with this? You might think that I'm heading at, yeah, it's gonna get delayed, but wait a second, I have more to say. Let's look at older titles. Let's look at older release from Team Maniacs, and I'm specifying Team Maniacs because I keep hearing people say, "Oh, they delayed Persona 5 so many years now. For so many years, it was supposed to come out in 2014 or something like that." That's P Studio. That's the Persona team. It's completely different. It's something else. It's another game. It's another studio. It's different. We need to look at Team Maniac's latest projects to see, do they really delay their games that much? Let's look at it. Shin Megami Tensei 5 started full-scale development in 2009, right after the release of A Strange Journey on the Nintendo DS. It released 4 years after on the Nintendo 3DS. Was it delayed? It was not. It was not. The release was not delayed. Maybe the development was, but the release, it wasn't delayed. It was delayed, I think, a week or a month in Europe only, but anywhere else, Japan, the West, it was not delayed. It released in 2013, 4 years after they started development. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse started development in 2013, right after SMT4 came out, and it released in 2016, only 3 years after they started development. Yeah, they're using the same engine, so it's kind of normal that they took 1 year less than for SMT4 because they just reused some demon models and things like that, so it was definitely easier to make than starting from scratch, of course. Now, Shin Megami Tensei 5, it was announced in 2017, but from what I found online, it started full-scale development at near the end of the year, beginning of 2018. So if we look at it, 3 years or maybe 4 years of development time, because of course they're using a new engine, which is something that I also want to talk about, it would mean 2022 or maybe the end of 2021 that we would see a release for this game. So what I meant by the new engine as well is that, if you don't know already, Team Maniacs never worked with Unreal Engine 4 before. It's their first time working with Unreal Engine 4, and I think they might be struggling with it. It's HD development. It's obviously way different than developing on a Nintendo 3DS, for example. So I do think that it was probably a big challenge for them. So with all that information, taking all of that into consideration, do I think the game's gonna get delayed? Personally, I don't think so. I think the game's gonna see a 2021 worldwide release. I do think it's gonna release in 2021. Is it possible that a game that's delayed? I think so. I do think so. We're in the end. We're at the end of 2020. I don't think there's any events left that might show us SMT5 footage. Maybe the Game Awards, but I personally wouldn't count on that much. It makes sense in my opinion, but I don't know if they want to show this game at this event particularly. I made a video on the matter though, saying why it makes sense. So if you're interested, I'll link it right here. Please check it out. So it might happen at this point, but if not, yeah, it might get delayed. The thing is, I think if it gets delayed, it's probably going to be a small delay. A worldwide release, obviously, that's because of Nintendo, because Atlus never does a worldwide release with this kind of game. I'm sure Nintendo is going to probably publish the game in the West if Atlus doesn't do it. And they're definitely going to push the marketing of this game. So, yeah, I really do feel like if they announce a date after 3 years of being silent, I think that's good. That means we're gonna get the game in 2021, because they've been silent for 3 years. Why would you think? Why wouldn't they just, you know, tell us the game's still in development, the game's not dead, but we don't have anything more to say for now? If the game was not close to being ready, why? I mean, the team at Platinum Games did it for Bayonetta 3. They're like, yeah, the game's not dead. We're just not ready to show anything for now. I don't think that hurt them. I think it was a great move. So why would they raise our expectations with a date if they're not ready? So I think 2021 is going to be a big year. I think we're going to see Shin Megami Tensei 5 very soon in the year. We're going to get footage. We're going to see gameplay. They're going to go all in with SMT4, especially once Nocturne released in the West, which I do think is a March release. It's going to be hyped. And now I want to hear you guys' thoughts. So I did a poll on Twitter. Very simple poll. Is Shin Megami Tensei 5 gonna get delayed? Yes? No? Unfortunately, you guys didn't help. And let me tell you why. Over 100 people voted for the survey, and 49.5 people said yes, it's gonna get delayed. 50.5% said no, it's not gonna get delayed. So hell, no one's certain. I'm not. You guys aren't, but I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Why do you think it's going to get delayed? Why don't you think it's going to get delayed? I want to talk about it, so please do so. As always, if you like this random speculation discussion video, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. A thumbs up, it helps, it shows your support, and it means a lot. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.